Imagine walking into your own home. It's the place you built with love and sweat, only to hear whispers that rip your heart in two. "He's not her real father," a voice says softly, laced with deceit. In that frozen moment, Mark realized his entire marriage was a crumbling facade, and the truth would soon burn it all down. Let me paint the picture for you. Mark Thompson was a devoted family man in his late 40s, living in a cozy suburb outside Chicago, worked as a software engineer. The kind of guy who fixed problems quietly, without fanfare. Mark had grown up in a broken home himself. His parents divorced when he was young, leaving him with a deep fear of abandonment. That's why he poured everything into his family. His dreams were simple: a stable life, watching his daughter grow, and growing old with the woman he loved. Was kind-hearted, a bit introverted, always putting others first. His laugh was warm, like a gentle fire on a cold night, but lately, it had faded. Then there was Alina, his wife of 12 years. She was vibrant, outgoing, a marketing consultant who thrived on social events and networking. In her early 40s, Alina had that polished, look-perfect hair, designer clothes, always smelling of expensive perfume. But beneath it all, she was ambitious to a fault, craving admiration and excitement. She came from a wealthy family, used to getting her way, and saw marriage as a partnership that should elevate her status. Alina dreamed of a life filled with travel and luxury, not the mundane routines of suburbia. Their daughter Sophie was the light of Mark's world. At 10 years old, she was a curious, artistic soul, with big brown eyes and a shy smile that could melt ice. Sophie loved drawing fantastical worlds, dragons, castles, heroes saving the day. She idolized her dad, calling him her superhero for the bedtime stories he told. But Sophie was sensitive, picking up on tensions like a sponge. She dreamed of becoming an illustrator one day, escaping into her sketches when things felt off. At home, Mark and Alina had met at a tech conference. He was drawn to her energy, she to his stability. They married quickly, had Sophie 2 years later. On the surface, they were the perfect family holidays together. School events, backyard barbecues. But cracks hid in the shadows, waiting to widen. The build-up started subtly, like a slow poison seeping in. It began about 5 years into the marriage. When Alina's job took her on more trips, Mark noticed the changes first in small ways. She'd come home late, her phone buzzing with messages she'd dismissed as work stuff. Sophie would ask why Mommy was always tired or angry, and Alina would snap, "Not now, sweetie. Mommy's busy." Mark brushed it off at first, blaming stress, but the cruelty deepened over time. One evening, Mark overheard Alina on the phone in the garage laughing softly. "He's clueless." "Yeah, Sophie's more like you every day." He froze, but convinced himself it was a joke. Meanwhile, Sophie suffered. In silence, Alina began favoring family time that excluded Mark, taking Sophie to parks or ice cream shops alone, whispering secrets that made Sophie giggle uncomfortably. "Don't tell Daddy," Alina would say. "This is our little thing." Months turned. 2 years, the incidents piled up. Alina started undermining Mark's role as a father. During dinner, she'd say things like, "Sophie, your real talents come from my side of the family." Mark would laugh it off, but Sophie looked confused, her little brow furrowing. At parent-teacher conferences, Alina dominated, praising Sophie's art as just like her uncle's, a man Mark barely knew. Sophie began withdrawing, her drawings shifting from bright colors to darker shades, shadows lurking in the corners. The emotional toll on Sophie was heartbreaking. She'd cry in her room after Alina's scoldings. "Why can't you be more outgoing like me? Your dad's too quiet. It's rubbing off." Mark found Sophie one night, hugging her knees, whispering, "Am I doing something wrong?" He comforted her, but Alina hid it all so well, charming in public, affectionate when Mark was around. Neighbors saw the ideal mom. Alina even started excluding Mark from decisions, like signing Sophie up for dance classes without asking. "It's better this way," she'd say sweetly. Sophie internalized it, her self-esteem crumbling, believing she wasn't good enough for her mom. Mark felt the distance growing, but blamed himself. Maybe he worked too much. The home smelled of tension now, like stale air after a storm. Alina's perfume lingered, a reminder of her growing absences. Sophie stopped sharing her dreams, hiding her sketchbook. It was a silent erosion year after year, leaving scars no one could see. Then came the turning point. It was a rainy Tuesday afternoon in spring. Mark had left work early due to a migraine, slipping into the house quietly. He heard voices from the living room, Elena's and a man's. Peeking through the cracked door, he saw her with Alex, her colleague from work. They sat close on the couch, Sophie playing nearby with her toys. Lena leaned in, whispering to Alex, "Look at her eyes, ... just like yours. She's our girl, not his." Alex chuckled, ruffling Sophie's hair. Daddy would be proud if he knew. Mark's world shattered. His heart pounded like a drum in his chest. Shock hit first cold, numbing, then guilt flooded in. How had he missed this? Anger simmered, hot and raw, but he bit it back. No outbursts, no scenes. He backed away silently, retreating to his car. Sitting there in the rain, tears mixing with the drops on the window, he thought, I trusted her, ... with everything. But in that pain, clarity emerged. He wouldn't explode, he'd plan, calmly, methodically, for Sophie's sake. He drove around for hours, breathing deep, vowing to uncover the truth without alerting them. That night, he acted normal, kissing Alina goodnight like always. Inside, the fire burned slow. The revenge plan unfolded over the next 4 months. A masterpiece of patience and precision. Mark started small, gathering evidence without a whisper of suspicion. First, he installed a few discreet home security cameras. Nothing fancy, just ones that looked like smoke detectors or clocks. He told Alina they were for burglar protection, and she shrugged it off. The footage captured gold, Alina and Alex, together when Mark was at work, whispering about Sophie. "We can't tell him yet," Alina said one day. "The timing has to be perfect." Next, he dug into records. Quietly, he requested Sophie's birth certificate and medical files, noticing discrepancies. In the timelines, Alina had been on a business trip around conception. Mark consulted a lawyer friend privately, learning about paternity tests and custody laws. No drama, just facts. He scheduled a DNA test for himself and Sophie, using a home kit first to confirm his fears. The results? Sophie wasn't his biologically. Devastating, but it fueled his resolve. He built a dossier, methodical as code he debugged at work. Journals of incidents, dates, times, what was said. He recorded phone calls. Legally, Illinois allowed one-party consent. One night he overheard Alina telling Alex, "Once we divorce Mark, we can be a real family." He saved it all on a secure drive. Then, the financial angle. Mark hired a private investigator discreetly, paying from a separate account. The PI uncovered Elena's hidden assets, joint bank accounts with Alex, luxury purchases funneled through work expenses. Alina had been siphoning money from their joint savings, building a nest egg for her new life. Mark documented it all: receipts, statements, emails he accessed legally via shared logins. He involved authorities subtly, tipped to child services about concerns for a minor's emotional well-being, anonymous at first. Social workers visited unannounced, noting Sophie's anxiety. Mark played the concerned dad perfectly. He gathered witnesses, to neighbors who'd seen Alex around too often, teachers who noticed Sophie's mood swings after mommy time. Week by week, he stayed calm. Mornings, he'd make breakfast, smiling at Alina. Evenings, he'd tuck Sophie in, whispering, "You're my world, kiddo." Inside, he planned every step, consults with a divorce attorney, building an airtight case for custody and fraud. Patience was his weapon, no violence, just truth, sharp as a blade. The climax, built like a storm, finally breaking, started with the divorce papers. Mark served them quietly at home one evening, Elena's face paling as she read. "What is this?" she stammered. Mark stayed composed. The end of the lie. The court hearings were tense, air thick with anticipation. First, the paternity revealed ENA results projected on screen. Lena gasped, Alex shifting uncomfortably in the gallery. Lena judge's gavel echoed like thunder. Then, the evidence parade. Videos of their affair, audio of whispers about Sophie. "This is emotional abuse," Mark's lawyer argued. presenting Sophie's journal entries pages filled with confusion. Why does mommy say daddy isn't real? Child services testified next. The minor shows signs of manipulation, the social worker said. Alina tried denying it, tears flowing. It was just talk. But the financial fraud sealed it. Bank records showed thousands diverted. The prosecutor stepped in. Turns out Elena's expenses involved tax evasion. Arrest warrants followed. Handcuffs clicked in the courtroom hallway. Elena's perfect makeup smudged with shock. Alex bolted, but police caught him later for aiding the fraud. Tension peaked during closing arguments. Elena begged, "Mark, please." For Sophie? He met her eyes, voice steady. "This is for Sophie." The judge ruled. Full custody to Mark. Elena's parental rights restricted pending therapy. Assets frozen. Divorce granted with alimony denied due to deceit. Alina left the courthouse in disgrace, whispers following her like shadows. In the end, justice wrapped around them like a warm blanket after the cold. Sophie was safe now, thriving in therapy, her drawings bursting with color again. She and Mark moved to a smaller house by a lake, where mornings smelled of fresh coffee and laughter echoed off the water. They rebuilt their bond slowly. Picnics, art classes, honest talks. "You're my dad no matter what," Sophie said one day, hugging him tight. Mark found peace, dating again eventually, but always putting her first. Alina? She lost it all. Job, reputation, even Alex, who ghosted her. Living in a tiny apartment, she faced probation and community service, a shadow of her former self. Karma didn't rush. It waited, patient and unyielding. Real revenge doesn't shout, it waits, it plans, and it wins forever.